So Nick, when I'm working with advisors, I always just try to learn from other financial advisors' mistakes and try to help them work through not making the same ones in their transition. Looking back over the last 5 years, what do you think you would have done differently?
Yeah, so the first thing that we would have done differently is we would not have gone to our RIAs like turnkey DBA. Um, that was a mistake. That added a layer of complexity to the process that was confusing for our clients. And then being on a website with other advisors, and our clients just didn't get it. And it was confusing. It was very hard to explain, like, yes, we're independent business owners. We have our own little fiefdom, and there's 50 other guys that have done the same thing and they have their own little fiefdom and it has the exact same name. And we're related, yet we have no idea what each other's doing. So that was confusing. I wouldn't have done that. The second thing was I did so we would have taken a little bit of time on the front end, figured out the brand, which we ultimately came to as Know My Plan, which happened, shortly thereafter, which was a huge benefit for us because the ultimate thing was we wanted our clients to be able to say, I know my plan. So we thought the name made sense. Doesn't make a lot of sense from SEO purposes, but we like the end result. We spent a lot of money on a website that we probably didn't need to do. We set some money on fire there. When we first started, we hired a company to help us with lead gen and like social media posting. We're like, oh, here's a guy in Atlanta who's grown this multi-million-dollar independent practice doing this. This seems like a good thing, and they'll get some leads in. We want to do this. Well, we're still waiting for that first lead. It hasn't happened. And then, the other thing that we did is we signed up with Ramsey's Smart Vestor Pro. Like, hey, these are good people that are wanting advice and guidance. Went in completely blind, didn't have the infrastructure set up. And we only did that for a few months before we were able to turn it off. But, once again, we never even had a conversation with anyone from that program. So we definitely set some money on fire. And I think, just allocate yourself, $20,000, $25,000 that you're going to set on fire. I mean, that's part of the learning curve is you have to learn and you got to make some mistakes to figure out what works. The thing that worked incredibly well for us that came from that is, and part of this was COVID and the pandemic, but was the transition of people's willingness to meet virtually and to do Zoom appointments, because now people were seeing our content from all over the United States. People were comfortably working virtually. And now we started getting clients from Boston and Oklahoma and Oregon and Florida and that Texas. So that was really a huge change, which has really helped our business to flourish. But those were the key things. Those were the key mistakes that we made, which ultimately helped us figure out what does work.